Welcome to Environmental Intelligence, Episode 60. It's July 21st, 2026. Here's what's changed recently in the environmental regulatory landscape. The nickel mine proposal has reached the final federal impact assessment decision stage. Alberta's move to end long-standing advisory groups is reshaping how EPEA submissions on site closure and reclamation reach the ministry. Fresh air quality readings from recent wildfire events in British Columbia and Alberta now supply updated baselines for vapor intrusion and dust models. If you only note one thing today for your compliance calendar, track the federal decision window on the mining initiative and prepare for any new conditions that must map against existing provincial permits. Canada Nickel Company's initiative has completed the Environmental Impact Statement Review under the Impact Assessment Act. Earlier phases demanded extensive baseline work on groundwater, surface water, and terrestrial receptors. The final stage now focuses on conditions precedent and the design of follow-up programs. Teams supporting mining projects should update their compliance matrices to align any federal conditions with provincial approvals already in place. Public comment periods on the draft decision statement remain open, and monitoring networks may require adjustments. Alberta is ending multi-stakeholder advisory bodies that operated for 2 decades under EPEA frameworks. The change removes established routes for technical input on contaminated site closure criteria and reclamation standards. Practitioners should review any pending submissions that previously relied on these groups and shift to direct ministry channels. Federal and Alberta talks on new pipeline proposals continue with steady public support. This raises the prospect of tighter cumulative effects reviews under the Impact Assessment Act and related provincial rules. Consultants handling linear infrastructure should flag possible overlaps with Species at Risk Act permitting requirements. British Columbia and Alberta issued air quality warnings across Metro Vancouver, Red Deer, and Central regions. Fine particulate readings approached health thresholds and now provide real-time PM 2.5 and ozone data for transport models at contaminated sites. Assessors should compare current measurements against historical baselines to determine whether smoke events have changed site-specific attenuation factors. Canada's renewables sector faces contract expirations on existing assets. Environmental consultants working with wind and solar facilities need to prepare updated decommissioning and site restoration plans that meet current provincial standards. Consider a quarterly groundwater sampling round where benzene concentrations in a shallow well triple those from the prior 2 events, even though the up-gradient source zone shows no increase in free-phase product thickness. Smoke from regional wildfires deposited fine particulates across the site for several days, which altered soil gas exchange and temporarily reduced volatilization while boosting surface runoff infiltration. Wildfire-derived organic aerosols can sorb to soil organic matter and later desorb under shifting redox conditions, creating transient spikes unrelated to the original release. Cross-check field notes for smoke event timing against analytical holding times and request reanalysis of archived samples using the same method to isolate the effect. The most common mistake is attributing every concentration increase to source migration or failed remediation. The practical step is to log concurrent air quality indices and meteorological data before revising the conceptual site model. If you're working on mining projects under federal jurisdiction, review the Impact Assessment Act decision statement process and map any new conditions against existing provincial permits. Document any outstanding EPEA submissions that previously routed through Alberta advisory groups now being disbanded. Cross-reference recent British Columbia and Alberta air quality monitoring data against site vapor intrusion models for projects in wildfire-affected zones. Update client briefing templates to include carbon capture policy timelines referenced in federal reporting. In the next briefing, watch for the draft conditions release on the nickel mine proposal. Track Alberta Ministry communications on replacement mechanisms for the disbanded EPEA advisory groups. Review any new CCME or provincial air quality guideline updates tied to wildfire season data releases. Confirm quarterly groundwater sampling schedules account for potential smoke-related QA anomalies in Western provinces. That covers today's environmental intelligence. If you found this useful, share it with a colleague who needs to stay current. We'll be back with the next briefing, and if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NARA Network. Links in the show notes. Quick tip from the network, try modern investing techniques next. Modern strategies for Canadian and US investors. Every NARA Network show is free at naranetwork.com. The age of AI puts real builders on the phone with an AI host. Apply at naranetwork.com/age-of-AI apply. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.